Oh, we're doing mic check.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. We should be, so let me entertain. Are you not entertained? I'm here to entertain you. No, I'm not actually. I'm here to educate or something like that. I hope the sound works because you would be.
Yep.
Okay, good. Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Egg on Thursday, March the 21st, 2024. Friends, what I forgot to mention yesterday, we very briefly talked about the equinox. So that was on March the 20th. And of course, in Southern Hemisphere, it's the winter equinox. And now that means finally, this is the change of seasons. Around this time, of course, we have all the wonderful, wonderful festivities, that had everything to do with agriculture and also seasons rather than actual religion. But we have around here, we've got Nowruz, which is a Persian festival, but Muslim, and it's got to do with Ramadan. And of course, we have Holi coming up on March the 25th, and Easter, which, I don't really know when Easter is. Does anyone know when Easter is? Because I don't.
It's when rabbits lay chocolate eggs.
Oh, when you start seeing the rabbits laying chocolate. Thank you, darling, for that explanation. I actually was looking for something serious, but thank you.
Sorry.
Darling, I'm just checking for when Easter is. Now, what are we talking about today? Oh, what? So we've got Easter is March 31st, and that's when daylight saving will end. I love daylight saving time because I love that extra hour of sunlight at night. I love having sunset at 8 p.m. I really love it.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yes, and then of course the day starts later, so you have sunrise at 6:30 rather than earlier than that. That's okay.
Some people have a problem with it.
Yes, they do, because they leave for work
So it's their lifestyle that's.
I guess so.
It's affected.
I don't really understand why people don't want. And does daylight saving matter anymore? Some people ask. And well, I think in cold and hot countries, yes, because in cold countries. So when we go back, when we're like in Sydney, when we're in daylight saving time, right? Then it's great in summer because you do more, and that's about getting out of the house. And the more sunlight you have, the more you're out. However, it was also about fresh air, and I do think at one time it would be nice for it to exist, so to save bills, go out of the house, The lights out. But everyone's then in air conditioning, so it doesn't save anyone anything. We don't do air conditioning. We like the heat. We like the detoxing. It hasn't really been relentless heat as it can get sometimes. I think we're in La Nina period. El Nino's gone. And La Nina is doing some crazy, crazy things. Anyway, I do want to talk about, I had said just very briefly, I was saying something about makeup tips because what we do, well, sometimes, is tell everyone on Instagram, hey, we're here, just to see if people move out of their comfort zones. And interestingly enough, people don't. Not always. And that's fine. People really enjoy their comfort zones, darling. And this is where I tend to offend people. I find it, it's... Okay, this is what happened, which I didn't tell you yesterday. That photo shoot we did that I was approached, because I always get approached by the Euro whites, in the Australian fashion, well, Euro people. So, please understand, when I say Euro white, I mean what people say are white people. However, every racial grouping has skin shades from the deepest melanin to the palest. And again, PSA, no such thing as white and melanin. It's all melanin, folks. And then, of course, albinoism, which in Fiji they used to be. I don't think it's prevalent anymore. And I did have facts as to why that occurs, but right now they're not coming to the fore of my brain. So let's go back and talk about how I offend people. So yeah, when the Euro industry people in in Australia need to ask something about Pacific people, etc., then they come to me because I'm, interestingly enough, seen as a spokesperson for Pacific fashion, especially. And that's great. And I'm very privileged to be in that position. And that has got to do with the over a decade's worth of work I have done. Well, actually, 2 decades, because I've never not worked in the industries that I work in. I moved to Australia in the 90s, and I have always worked in media and fashion, not music, and also media, no longer radio and television, except when we started our empire. So I get called for that, and that's great, but it's all very tokenistic. And they only need, if it's a free job, so they'll ask me can you find us some models? Oh, wait, there's no money. We're only doing this for, out of the love of whatever. So they'll accumulate all the industry bigwigs, or, they'll ask for fashion. So this was for from a Pacific origin, particular to that country, artistry, which people know about. And people, particularly the Euros, wear as badges of, look how multiculturally sensitive we are, or look how cosmopolitan, or look how, it's always, there's certain things that are worn as badges of credibility, or like, of global, what am I saying here? Oh, look how much they know about the world type thing. So in Australia, there's a lot of Euro women, especially, who will go into other countries like, say, Fiji or other Pacific countries, and see the potential of artistry, etc., but not contemporary art. Eurostream does not want to know about Pacific region, particularly contemporary art and artistry. They like their artists, their artisans, all the wonderful creative craft work to come from villages, because I don't know. I guess it ticks all the boxes of I don't know. I don't know what boxes it ticks, because where are these people coming from? From guilt, or from making themselves look better, or look how big they are, what big people they are, helping other people like that. There's a certain the savior complex. Thank you. That's what it is. And so it only works if they really are saving the village people, and not, say, people like us. Like, we're Pacific people. There's many other people like us who are contemporary Pacific artists and artisans and people doing all that stuff. Why do they never want to help us? Not just us, but all the diaspora, particularly, say, in Australia, artists and artisans of Pacific and multicultural origin, full stop, but I'm particularly talking about Pacific here. It's niche stuff as far as they're concerned. So they'll come to me when they need a Pacific model, because they're doing something for fun, and they want to help a Pacific person from somewhere else, and that's why they call upon us. Anyway, so we did this shoot, right? So let me just have a sip. Let me just have a sip of tea before I spill the tea. Mm-hmm. So, I love this. Dwayne is doing the ritual of grinding clove, and cardamom. And yes, that is a very sophisticated
technique.
Not just technique, but tool that you are using to an old wine bottle that has the best, because we really do need to actually get, a mortar and pestle, but like a traditional one. You're very particular. We've looked, and Dwayne has gone, nope, because these are all just fake, or, commercial things, or just things that look like they're not quite. But anyway, so where was I? Yes, I am going to tell the story of a particular shoot we did, and I was approached looking for models for that shoot, and told, the designers of big designers of Australia, some of whose their clothes I have bought. That wasn't, no, I wasn't asked to, I wasn't going to model for that, but I was asked to look for models. I'm like, sure. And so I, recommended uh, two stunning young women who I have photographed before, and they're from their Pacific origin, from different Pacific countries, and absolutely stunning. And they really should have been working as models in Australia before. But anyway, okay. And then I also recommend the most gorgeous man model I know.
Oh, yeah.
I recommend it.
That was fun.
My yum yum. And yeah, yum yum. I'm sorry. But I do have the photographs somewhere, and I can't, I should have had them up. But that doesn't matter. I don't want to show the photographs. So it was great. And then I was asked because, well, I have been asked to model before for certain other things. And I say yes because I'd like to lend my renown, should we say. I am someone of some renown and respect because of the work I do and my skill, my talent. What if I cannot say this, if I cannot talk about myself honestly and transparently and tell you that yes, I am extremely good at what I do. And so one of those things I do is also model, and I'm an ex-model. I'm no longer a model. Now, if I get asked to model, it should be because I am asked to model, not me being hired to be a model. There's a difference now. And it's like when the supermodels get asked. They don't get asked because they're just ordinary. They're just ordinary models. They're supermodels. And for a country, the country of my birth, I am a supermodel. But however, they're all, anyway, I don't know. Everyone's just a bit confused about what that term means now. And of course, it has changed for the times. And now supermodel is anyone who seems to just be getting more, publicity. It's kind of strange. Anyway, so I agreed because it'd be fun to model with my husband, which we have done for a few shoots before. So it's always fun and I love it. The shoot itself was lovely, really a lot of fun, except the photographer, also a very lovely person. But one thing I do find about people is their insularity. All right, they don't quite understand what it is like for brown and black people who are on a set surrounded by white people, and it's their territory. And it's all very, and I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting, but I really wouldn't photograph like this, and but I don't say anything. As a photographer, I do not go onto another photographer's set, particularly if I am a model on that set. I do not tell the photographer what to do. However, as a model, and particularly an older model, and okay, this was a shoot that when I walked into, the photographer looked at me and went, "Oh, wow, you're real, you look real." I'm like, ooh, that means ugly. In fashion speak, when you look at an older woman who is non-Botoxed and, who's basically just aging naturally, and I enjoy it, although I have said maybe sometime in my late 50s or mid 50s, or maybe next year, who knows, which mid 50s, I may do some things with certain things, but I feel that older women who don't touch their faces prior have the right to then, as they get older, to... Are you making more scones, darling?
I am.
My husband's making scones as well. My goodness, that's all quite...
I'm feeling like scones.
All right, it's all quite lovely then. And where was I? Yes, I think older women have the right to then go, well, I feel like I would like to look a bit fresh, especially postmenopausal. Postmenopausal, I think women are then allowed to go, you know what? I went through a real kind of hell internally because our fertility factory has to shut down, and it shakes us up to make us really sure. And the fertility factory is connected to every part of us. So naturally, it's going to really, really show symptoms, major symptoms of shutting down, of like doing that. I totally get it. I still have hot flushes, sorry. But there's a lot of all the other things that are associated with menopause. No, I didn't have, and I certainly don't have anymore. But pains and aches, even starting to get hard skin on the feet. I will talk about that, about menopause, etc. Because hard skin on the feet, I have always looked after my feet. I've never, ever had hard skin on my feet. I'm very particular. And I have a pumice stone in the shower every day. And I started noticing that the skin on my heel was getting a bit hard. And I read up that it's actually got to do with menopause. Now, heel skin, the heels are actually also related to cardiovascular health. So, and did you know that menopausal women can then get strokes, and their cardiovascular health can also be affected? Quite a few other things. I will talk about this another time. We are talking about something else. Humanopause or something. I don't know. I do like my wordplay. Um, oh, there's something really fancy going on there. Dwayne uses lemonade and there's cream. It looks like a wonderful shandy. Maybe we should have lemonade and ice cream later on.
Creaming soda.
Creaming soda. That's what it was. That's what we call shandy as well. But even though shandy is an alcoholic term for for beer mixed with lemonade or something, which we drink with soda water. And soda float, ice cream float, and creaming soda. That's what that all is. Gosh, I have absolutely digressed. Spider and all that. Yeah, yum. Coke spider. Where was I? So the shoot, right? Tea. So, where was I? It was all lovely, and they were just lovely, fantastic, absolutely, top grade makeup artist, top grade, photographer, and the stylist, top grade. The stylist is the one who had contacted, means well, absolutely lovely, absolutely insular to the true plights of what happens with brown people, and black people in Euro constructs, in Euro societies. So, but a delightful person. This is the very difficult conversation that brown people need to have with Euro people. Like, you mean well, but you're just making it worse, which they don't have. So I observed on this shoot that Dwayne and I were on, and then two other Pacific models that I had recommended, and that's why I recommended Dwayne, and then I was asked if I would model for that. This was last year. On the shoot, it was wonderful. All top Australian designers we were dressed in, and also I had asked for a top Pacific origin designer for their clothes to be sent over, and they arranged it. And I recommended this designer because I have a few designers from the Pacific, certain countries only, and there's very few I would recommend globally. There are very few designers from the Pacific who I feel are ready to be international. And I don't just mean it's just because they have got shops or they've got, clothes that are sewn, etc., etc. No, there's actually some that don't have shops, that don't have collections, but have raw talent. It's dripping off them. They can drape material around someone, and voila, there is a garment. Those are designers. And there's a few from Pacific origin countries. One country is the country of our birth, but I'm not saying names here. Now, so I had arranged for designers to be for those collections, and they all organized it. They got it sent over, etc., etc. And so the Pacific designers' garments are being used, were used in the shoot. Sorry, it was wonderful. Now, it was a great shoot. I loved it. For everybody, you had a lovely time. The photographer, as I said, these were top industry professionals. Okay, that I know, and it's great, and I loved the makeup that was done, because the makeup was supposed to be very natural and very subtle. As an older woman who hasn't had any work done, because apparently, faces like mine are hard now, because faces in their 50s all tend to be a bit Botoxed and fillered and all sorts of crap done. And they're not, look, I have natural genetic way I look. And I was always going to respect that. I wasn't going to ooh, look what's happening. I think, wow, thank you, mom and demon father, for, your genetics. And also thank you, my vanity, because I respect my body and my face. And for me, respecting that means I'm going to love. And with that, maintenance. I'm not a rigid maintenance person, but as I said, I do have some things I do. And On Instagram, I had said makeup tips, but the only makeup tips I do is like if you do need to put on concealer because you feel you have dark circles. And I am sleeping a lot. And believe it or not, sleeping a lot gives me dark circles. That's crazy. I feel a bit sluggish when I sleep too much. So in order to counteract dark circles, this is where you should put concealer. This is a bit of a little makeup tip that I said I wouldn't do. And I will get back to spilling the tea on that shoot. Anyway, concealer should be applied here only to lift, particularly, this is where everything gets hollow. So as we get older, as we get tired, we lose hydration, we lose collagen as we get older. But also hydration is really important. We do not drink as much water. My husband's like, because he's always water. And I'm like, thank you, darling. Thank you for reminding me, because we do not drink enough water. And yeah, sure, you get water from tea, etc., but anything caffeinated, and that's tea and of course coffee, that actually is a oh God, I can't remember what that's called. When you something to stop you. Well, it makes you lose water. There's a term for it. That's what sports people and all that use before, big things, and they're not allowed to. I can't remember what it's called, but it's weird. They're not allowed to take these tablets to aid to stop water retention. De-bloating tablets. I can't remember what they're called. De-bloating stuff. Anyway, blah blah blah. Concealer, right? Should be used here, because that and concealer should be a tad lighter than your skin shade on your face. Really, it should be like the color of your wrist, and that's where you put it here. Concealer needs to be put here because it lifts. I should actually demonstrate. Well, when I am actually talking about the one topic, then I will demonstrate. You put concealer here, and if you're going to put it under your eye, it needs to be put in a bit of a V. Because the whole point of concealer is to trick other people's eyes, even your eyes when you look in the mirror, and you'll see it when you do it. You do it one by one. And all of a sudden this lifts, so it doesn't look as hollow nor as, shaded as much. So you look a bit fresh again. And if you put it here, especially if you've got wrinkles, and if you don't mind, that's fine, but it does, if you do put concealer, but what it does is accentuates the wrinkles even more. Why am I talking about this? Let's go back to that shoot. Damn it. So I will share all of those things because I do know stage makeup. And stage makeup is what everyone does now just for, a post on Instagram. You cannot go out wearing stage makeup because it is very apparent you have contoured your face. And now contouring is a part of life and in everyday cosmetics. Oh my God. But I will share all of that. Anyway. Going back to the makeup that was done for the shoot, I'm talking and spilling some tea here because I offend people. I offend people by what I say. What I share are facts, and they're truths. And I'm very aware that there is a difference between telling the truth and just opening your mouth and not having a filter and just saying what you want and just not caring about offending people and just. Well, that's not what I do. Unfortunately, telling the truth and stating facts does offend people, and people don't like being shaken out of their comfort zones at all. Hey, neither did I. Until the worst person I know, actually, in terms of like shaking people out of comfort zones, the worst person I know for doing that turned on me. And then I had to confront myself. That was me I'm talking about, by the way. I'm the worst person I know. I think you knew that I was going there. The worst person I know for confronting self is me. So yeah, I had to confront myself and tell myself some really hard truths and facts. Lily. I've got some lilies here because I'm just going to cut the stems and give fresh water. So the shoot, right? Makeup and everything was wonderful. But when the photographer started photographing me, I said to the photographer, just be aware, and you've already said that I'm real, which means that I don't have filler and Botox, which means that my face requires some special lighting to make sure I don't look like a ghoul, or because I have high cheekbones. And that's all very lovely. I'm very happy to have high cheekbones, and it's all lovely and fine. And because of high cheekbones and my jawline, etc. But because of all of that, because of high cheekbones, and because I'm older, in my 50s, and after postmenopausal, so the loss of collagen, etc., etc. But I've always had deep set eyes, and now the loss of collagen has made my eyes look more hollow. Sorry, Lily, look more hollow. And so therefore, when I'm photographed, you cannot photograph me like you're photographing a filled or a youthful face. I have a youthful face, sorry, but not a young face. Thank gosh, I'm in my 50s. Why would I want to look like how I feel? I look like the 53-year-old version or 54-year-old version of my 23-year-old version. I say 54 because at each birthday, I feel this is how I count time. I've accumulated 53 years. I'm in my 54th year because we are on, that's how, so when we turn one, we have lived on the planet for 1 year. We're not just all of a sudden just 1 year old. We've accumulated a year. So I have accumulated 53 years. I'm 54 now. So yeah, you have to, and I have to raise in my photographs, I raise my chin. I look for the light. I make sure the light fills what needs to be filled. I don't mind. I don't care what I look like. I mean, but I also don't want to look. I don't look as an ex-model, as someone who's going to be photographed as a model, as someone who does have vanity. I'm not saying I don't have vanity. Of course I do. But it's a vanity of, well, this is what I was born with, and I'm going to take care of it. And that's the vanity I have, where it's like, oh, well, thank you very much, skin, for being so good to me. And I'm sorry I wasn't so good to you with all that sun exposure, but thank you for being good to me. And thank you, brown. Yeah, I represent melanin. So yeah, but the photographer had an idea. And as a photographer myself, a photographer who's been photographing for a long, long time. I have been photographing since I was 10. I have been modeling professionally since I was 18. I know how to photograph people, particularly because I have been photographed. And I know, and I've learned a lot from photographers of the 90s. And I've learned how faces need to be photographed. And you need to photograph faces to their strengths. And photographers now want to photograph according to their style. So we all have our signatures, and that's great. But my signature is especially when I photograph women, I bring out the power in them, not force it. I see it and I direct it out of them. You, having been photographed by me as a subject and seeing and assisting me in all the shoots, know how I direct.
Oh yeah.
So also I photograph beautiful men as well, and I love photographing you, my darling. But it takes understanding the person, not forcing your outlook on someone else, even though that the job of a model is to be a blank canvas. Now, though, at my age, I'm not a blank canvas. And so when I say, please don't photograph me that way, respect me, because I know what I'm going to look like. I hate this shoot's photos. Oh my God. I had asked, don't photograph me with my face down and shadows on it, please. Don't photograph me with light coming from here because I know what it does. I hate the photographs from this shoot. Dwayne looks beautiful. The other models look stunning. Everyone, but I know that I just don't look stunning at all. And it's not about vain, like I look ugly, but why did you not respect? And I feel that, so now everyone, of course, because the particular photograph that I think is just, it's not that I look ugly. It's just not a good photograph of me. And it's insulting that people are, oh, you're so beautiful, Dust Davy. I'm like, really? That's not what I look like. How come you don't say that when you see a photograph of me at my best? How come when it's me at my ugliest, I'm so beautiful? It's like how people, particularly Euro women, particularly Euro young women who like to police these things, they're the ones who are giving woke a bad fucking name, especially to us Gen Xers, because I get it. You have to be woke. Wake the fuck up. But there's these Euro women, right? And these youngins who think that, oh no, you can't say this, you can't say pronoun. Like, oh my God. Yes, I agree. I agree, though. Respect pronouns. Respect this generation's time. Respect that they didn't have the hope, the luck, the opportunities we had, the older generations. And because we all took them all without giving anything back, Generation Z has got not much at all, not even themselves. They have no identity. They can't identify who they are. They choose labels to identify who they are, to identify what they're not. Interesting. Anyway, and I say that it comes out a bit sarcastic, but I don't mean for that to happen. I do absolutely support them. But also as a Gen X, it's like, come on. There's a bit of a battle going on in my mind sometimes. But that's okay. That's okay. It's not our time to, it's our time to heal and help. Going back to the shoot. So the person, the product that the shoot was about, I certainly hope that and this is where I am wrong too, because they got a great shoot out of it. The shoot has got top designers, the models, Pacific origin, and two other models who aren't Pacific origin, but they're brown skinned, because apparently it was so insular for me in that regard. I would have done something so spectacular about this shoot, how I would have done it, taking the product. And look, I'm going to just tell you the product. Look, it doesn't matter what the product was. It was Pacific origin product. And if you watch the whole thing, then whatever. But I would have done something different, and that's okay. Each photographer has something different. The shoot itself is beautiful. I love the muted tones, etc. What I hate is the way I was photographed, particularly when I told the photographer, don't photograph me like that, please. But I think that it does look like I'm just being vain. I get it. But what it is me saying, how dare I not be respected for my knowledge of, so they come and leech off us when they need something to give them, to make them look better. And I'm not articulating this, right? So they have an idea they want to help the poor Pacific people, but then it's still all about them. And so the design, one of the garments I was wearing was a top designer, who I have, as I said, I've got some pieces from this designer. And this designer published their photograph, the photograph of me wearing their dress on their feed, and I was like, wow. And it's all beautiful, dusty, blah blah blah. I'm like, really? Wow. Disrespect. I really hated that shot. I hated that photograph because I had specifically told the photographer that I am not going to photograph well in this position, particularly because of the light colored garment I was wearing as well. It was a lovely garment, but it wasn't suited to my facial skin tone. So disrespectful in not understanding that I, as a woman in my 50s, do now understand what I am talking about without trying to take over your set. But if you're photographing me, and we're all doing it for free, mind you, everyone's doing it for free, but it's to promote the product of Pacific origin. I feel if white people in Australian fashion industry want to do something to help Pacific people, what they have to do is stop doing free little shit things like this, which are beautiful, great, but what does it actually do for industry, for Pacific industry? Instead of doing shit little things like that, which it wasn't shit, it was beautiful, it was all the top people, but what did anyone, it's, so we're all just there to just fill in what? You're not saying anything to this, because maybe I am a little bit wrong, because the person whose product it is, they're absolutely delighted. And this is the person I have offended. They're absolutely delighted with it all. They absolutely think it's the most incredible thing to happen. That's crumbs. And great. But my experience, my standing, I guess, with my experience, no, I'm not ready. I'm not taking crumbs anymore. And this is interesting what I'm saying, because we were at a meeting last night for we were invited. So top creatives were invited to give opinions and suggestions and ideas on something. And part of me and part of all of us is like, yeah, more ideas are going to be leached off us. More of these things that are just about making us feel like we're, part of something. And then when it comes to it all, then what happens then? Then we're all forgotten about. Our ideas are taken. But there was a little bit of transparency, a bit more transparency than usual. And I certainly didn't hold back in well, in saying my part on these things. But there too, it was like we're all multicultural creatives are sick and tired of crumbs, and we were older people. I was perhaps one of the I was perhaps one of the oldest, but we're all the people. The artists were in their 30s, 40s. And by now, we're just tired of crumbs. We're tired of exposure. We're tired of, it'll be really, because the promises. So the person, the promises are like, oh, when we do this, we'll call you to do this and this and this and that. And we'll do this and we'll do this. And none of it ever happens. None of it ever happens. But at the time, they promise you so much. I have been promised by a former Vogue editor who is known throughout the world for her, sustainability. My gosh, brown and black women also really know her for her truth. And yeah, we're tired of being the token brown and black friends, thank you, so you can come and steal our ideas and our thoughts on sustainability, on fashion, on the industry. So anyway, yesterday, the person whose product this is, Pacific origin, brown woman. Oh, I've said woman now. She put up some photographs of behind the scenes of the shoot, etc., which is great. And I, this is weird how this happened. She put up behind the scenes photographs of the shoot, and there wasn't any of us, but I didn't care because I know there was the photographs of us. We had taken them. But when I liked the post and then, clap emoji, because I was like, yeah, because that's the two models that I had recommended, models that I photograph. And they're beautiful. They are beautiful. And I photographed them. So I was excited, but interesting. And then I got a message, and then on the stories, she posted that ugly photograph of me, which maybe people don't think it's ugly, and I don't think it's ugly, but please don't say it's beautiful when I know specifically that I was really done badly by. And I have said that many, many times. And the other thing I've got to be conscious of is that I am considered privileged in the looks thing, so I've got hair and skin color and features that are considered privileged in this Euro construct Caucasian world. What people don't understand, by the way, Caucasian is a racial classification. It's not a racial classification. It is a features classification. So Southeast Asians, that's Indians and Latin people and Euro people are considered Caucasians. Don't even start me on that. And then, and then after that, I was like, okay. And then she said, I'm so sorry I didn't publish. I'm like, no, I didn't expect anything. And then that's when I said, look, I don't actually like this photo. I had to tell her. And I said, I'm sick and tired of white people doing this constantly negating us, constantly not listening to what we're saying. I'm sitting here saying, well, as a photographer and a model of 35 years experience, young'un, to that photographer, who was lovely and very talented. But I also have some knowledge, particularly of myself. I didn't tell him how to photograph everybody else. I just recommended to not photograph me in these ways because I know what the photo will look like, and it's even worse than I imagined. And all these people are spreading this photograph that how can anyone, particularly in the fashion industry, particularly after this photographer has already said, oh, but you're so real. So that means I'm ugly. Great, fine. If real means if ugly means real, then I'm happy to be ugly. But come on. And so I said to this woman, look, this isn't, what has this actually done for anyone? Did these products fly off the shelves, or are you? And the reason why is this product is associated with raising money for people in the Pacific country, particularly women in this Pacific origin country. But there's so much more that could be done, so much more. But instead, it's all just optics, and it's all quite performative, folks. I'm sorry, it's all very performative because none of these white people actually want to learn about anything. None of these people actually want to make space in this country's fashion industry for multicultural artistry and creativity. They don't want to do it. They will just use it to be inspired or to showcase their skills and platforms even more. It's a draw card to bring the multicultural people in. But what then? That the fashion industry uses optics, particularly here. When Americans actually say that Australia is kind of weird that way, that there's no one even behind the scenes. Behind the scenes of all the optics are all white people, or white passing people, or Euro template people. So Oreos. I sound really harsh, huh? Oh well. It's people don't want to hear it. Oh well. But this, she got really offended by what I said.
Oh. Poor thing.
Yes, she got very, very offended by what I'm saying. Well, what happened to all the promises and why you still? For me, it's not enough to get all the friends around, the top industry people, the top dresses, and we'll do a pretty little shoot. Oh, it's fun! And then we'll do this, and we'll do this, and look, we'll do this. Oh, great. That's nice that you had fun. Who did it benefit really? That's my point. That's my point. And I am harsh. I am really, really horrible in some ways. I know. And I have to learn and not just be tolerant, but accept that other people are quite happy with their crumbs, and that there are going to be brown and black people who are always going to look up to the Euro person as being the one who knows best. So even though out of everyone on that set, I had the most experience in everything, because I am brown, and as a brown woman in the Euro construct, I don't have the same type of recognition as they do, even though they all know me and people know me, and I do have quite a bit of recognition. I do. I can't deny that. And I have also been acknowledged and rewarded for that, and that's lovely. It's still not enough, because what I want to do, and they all know it, is to actually bring a tsunami of multicultural people with me. I crash these barrels because I want a multicultural wave of artistry and creativity to fill in and color and hydrate the fashion and design and art industries of the Eurostream. And it's not happening fast enough. Considering we're the global majority, it's not happening fast enough. And what I do not understand is why a country like Australia, which was constructed on stolen land, why they don't utilize the multiculturalism of it. But it's all about conquer and conquest, isn't it? So I have offended a brown person who looks up to and says, "Oh, these people are my friends, and we all unite, brown and white, to make." Like, what? No, we don't. No, we don't. Even the well-meaning Euro white people still hold on to their pedestals and say, "Hey, come, what can I do?" Instead of like, "Hey, come and be on this with me, and let me step aside, because it is time. It is time. Like us, old people have to step aside to let the young people grow and flourish. And we're here to nurture and mentor, support, share. I'm not saying it's now our time to go. Hell, I have still got half a century of electricity in me that wants to light up everything. Also, some lightning that kind of wants to strike. Oh, look, after last night, I mean, we were all so enthused and energized, etc., but we're also a little bit like jaded and cynical. There are some people who are really jaded, like, yeah. As we were saying on our way back home, and you had said, you know, let us just, as you had said, what is it? Let us just art, you know? Stop making us activists. We just want to do our art. Multicultural artists have to become activists, or are activists solely by dint of existence. Just because we exist, an artist, an illustrator, you know, a photographer, a writer, just because we exist and we're brown and we're from Fiji, you know, we are then therefore activists because we dare pursue our talents and skills. I need my charger, darling.
Oh.
Sorry. Oops, my battery's about to go. Not my battery, that battery. So yeah. We're all tired of being asked for our ideas on how to better blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Just let us, just pay us for starters. Stop asking for free stuff. You know, how dare you, after asking for free stuff, and then make me look ugly? So not only was it free, oh, gosh. I'm sorry. I know. I sound like a churlish thing. Don't care if I sound churlish. Truths need to be said, and I'm tired of brown and black women especially being exploited for our skills, talents, abilities to walk in all worlds. As a brown woman, as a, you know, we walk in our world and the new world. It's not their world, because their world they forced upon us, so it's our world as well. So traditional and modern, you know. Anyway, so I've offended that person, darling, because, you know, comfort zone. So the comfort zone, don't shake the, don't offend the white people because they may not look, you know. What? So because I don't know, it's crazy. It's just insane. It's just insane. I didn't mean to offend, but wake up. Wake up. And don't call people your friends who are merely leeching off you for their own personal gain. Like that Vogue editor. She's no longer with Vogue, but I was her friend, you know, like, and then of course I get promised all sorts of things, because at that time I was the publicist and spokesperson and lead photographer for Pacific Runway. So Pacific Runway is just an iconic platform that ended in 2022. And because of that, you know, because I was always cited in media, quoted in media, et cetera, and I had to do a lot of, my role was to connect the Pacific community and its commercial capabilities and artistry with the Eurostream industries of design and fashion and creativity. That's what I did. So I had to be loud and out there. And so during that time, and then all these white people became my friends, you know, because it was great. It worked for me because it was helping Pacific Runway, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was used as the token brown friend on everyone's feed, you know, and a special thank you. And particularly this Vogue editor, she cited me as having helped her with her public speaking, because I mentored, you know, just because she's a journalist, so she was able to ask me questions. And as it was happening, I was like, wow, you're actually getting information out of me on how to be a certain way. Okay, cool. We're friends. I thought that's fine. Ask me questions on how to be a certain, what to do, how to talk, etc. Cool. I didn't realize what was going on. Honestly, I thought we were friends. But also seeing, oh, you're taking information from me. Bless. I'm a journalist. I'm older than you, mate. I know. Anyway, and then after Vogue, because she wrote an article on Vogue, in Vogue, and got so many facts wrong about First Nations people and about Pacific people. And also, as she had said to me, that she couldn't write a commercial-based article because, well, they're not Stella McCartney, are they? I'm like, that's right. They're from the Pacific and they knew ethical practices and sustainability before Stella McCartney. So, and then when I asked her very nicely, oh, please, please, Vogue editor, because it's a digital one, it's not that hard. Could you please correct the mistakes you've made? I mean, as a publicist, I have the right to say, excuse me, media, correct this. This is wrong and disrespectful. You come into cultural spaces to be exalted because, oh, look, the white people here, yay. And then you fuck it up. And then what do you say when I write a polite email saying, what have you done? You people are never happy. Excuse me? And then an email straight after maybe after it was a few too many G&Ts being consumed there. Immediately after that email was like, oh, I'm sorry about the previous email. I will rectify. Best wishes. All of a sudden I've gone from best friend to best wishes. Ooh, cutting. Because I asked her to correct something that she fucked up about multicultural people. So, there you go. No longer the friend. And other brown and black women, we've talked amongst ourselves because we do, we try not to betray other things, so we don't always talk, but when we talk. I'm like, this is what's happening to us. Anyway, so I've offended people because people's comfort zone, but not this one. This one wasn't offended. She was caught out. And, you people, who are you people? Who are you? What does a white, British, Australian woman mean when she says you people when talking to a brown woman who is representing a region? And also about First Nations people of this land called Australia. What does you people mean? Anyway, look. So but this is. I didn't mean to offend this person, but I see that they don't want to see truth. I really don't. I see that. It's like, okay, well, I do know what I'm talking about. I am a fashion journalist, a fashion photographer, a fashion publicist. I'm a fashion lecturer in philosophy, history, and the purpose of fashion. I think I know a bit. I have been in the fashion industry since I was 18. I'm in my 50s now. I have been into fashion, what it is and why it exists, since I was a child. And I have worked professionally in fashion since I was 18 and internationally in fashion since I was 24. And in Australia in fashion, well, for a long time, because when I first came here, I couldn't work as a model because they didn't want brown faces. And they expected so much from, if somebody was going to be a brown face, well, then she had to be 6 foot tall. I'm not 6 foot. I'm tall. I'm not 6 foot. And I had to be really, 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 and I was thin back then. I was Australian size 8. But, oh my gosh. Look at that. The scones are delightful, darling. Oh my God. Yum. So, folks, this is what is this episode about? Well, it's not really much about other than me just griping about everybody. But I should have thought about what I was saying because I don't see it from other people's point of view, particularly when I don't realize other people don't, see white people as being God. And particularly from countries that have accepted the white idea and construct and concept of God as the God. And so they find it very offensive when you say something about their friends, the white people who have helped them, and they won't take any sort of, well, they don't like it. It's like, well, the reason why this shoot actually happened is because I was able to recommend the Pacific models and designers. Now, they don't use the Pacific models for anything else. They don't use the Pacific origin designers for anything else. They could have used that product that the shoot was about in actual editorials in magazines, but no. Because it's all for fun. Everything to do with black and brown creativity is just for fun, according to the Eurostream. Well, my friends, I no longer wish for that to be the case. And someone has got to lead a revolution. Evolution needs revolution. And we need to evolve. Nothing's changing. Nothing is changing. Don't say, well, this and that, and women can do so much. Yeah, but according to the latest statistics globally, there is not a single country that has gender equality in any way. Not a single country. So do not tell me that, oh, we've made progress. Because we haven't. Because everyone has settled into their comfort zones, and we still look at the construct as being the thing we all need to follow. And we think countries like China and India are being rebellious. But anyway, my friends, I have got an incredible breakfast meal waiting for me now, because that must mean it is the end of the Daily Egg for today. Thank you very much. We are having poached eggs on scones with a bit of bacon. Sorry, should have had a meat alert there. I'll write it there. Thank you, my darling. That looks absolutely stunning. So that must be time for me to wind down. I was talking about the equinox. Happy equinox, everyone. That was on March the 20th, winter equinox, and it happened around 2 p.m., 3 p.m. So spring equinox in the southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, sorry. And now this is the start of a seasonal change that led to the festivities that we now know as religious festivals, and that is Ramadan. There's also Holi next week, and then the last week of March is Easter. So I don't know if it's Ramadan right now, but they have Nowruz. They have a Persian festival, Persian origin, sorry. It's not a festival. When I say festival, it's not. It's just commemorating things. It's all religious. It's all based around agriculture, harvesting, times of year, etc., etc. So now for the southern hemisphere, we have longer nights, and that's why daylight saving, which makes more sense to me to have daylight saving in winter with longer nights, right? So extend the day. But they made it so that they extended the daylight, sunshine hours. So it was still daylight at 7 p.m. You could still do things like work in, the fields, etc. So that's the longer days thing. Longer nights mean, okay, hibernation time to go in. And that's when the equinox, told us humans, well, it's now time to wind down and hibernate and go, enjoy the fruit of your harvest of all the times and give thanks and give thanks to nature. Instead, everyone is now praying to some invisible people in the clouds instead of going out to nature and saying thank you for the wonderful things that you do. When we come out of winter, how wonderful that we come out into a world that is blooming. Now, of course, we have blooms all year round. Now, but look at the magnificence of nature. Why would you pray to invisible people in the crowds who will smite you, who will take it out on you? Why wouldn't you pray to these flowers? Why would you pray to nature? Why wouldn't you understand the divinity within us? Anyway, so this has been a bit of a spilling the tea, gripe, etc., etc. But thank you very much for being here. And we will now say good day. Have a lovely, lovely day, regardless of what time when you are watching this. It is hard to have a lovely day when we're all still, burdened by the collective trauma because nothing is changing. But until people are able to upset the cards, to push over just absolutely upend tables. Oh, look, someone did, way, way back 2,000 years ago, according to the Gregorian calendar. Flipping tables and upsetting apple carts and comfort zones. And I can see it amongst my friends when I say some things and they'll be like, they get very defensive. And it's like, okay, I understand. So I need to learn to be more accepting of other people's comfort zones. Except that I also understand that comfort zones mean that none of us are going to go anywhere. We're going nowhere fast, hurtling through the universe. Okay, that's me. That's us for today. Thank you very much for being here. Bye. Ah, yeah, darling.